We are the boys from the House of Mario, and we're here to let you know that Wii Shop is shutting down January 30th.
Closing down sale, closing down sale, closing down sale. Wii Shop is closing down and everything must go. Everything is still full price, but it must go.
Wow. Download some of your favourite WiiWare titles such as Sexy Poker, Muscle March, and Copter Crisis at ridiculously overpriced rates.
Yeah. Download all your games at the speed of a snail with our pre-ADSL services.
Moist. Make sure you don't miss out on buying games that will never be used again unless you like having a Wii internally plugged into your TV. Why?
Do you like having your collection on your second favourite console too? Don't worry, because for just 30 cents a game, you can transfer only a handful of those purchases onto your Wii U. What's a Wii U?
Be sure not to miss out on these amazing rip-offs. You'll never see them again once the eShop channel becomes a useless tombstone. Get in now. Oh my god. This is taking forever. Why did I even bother? Honestly, why did I even bother? What's up, guys? Welcome to the House of Mario, the award-winning Nintendo podcast, a part of the 8-Bit Collective, and the doors to episode 78 are open. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and joining me, as always, is Bryce DeWitt.
We're one number away from my favourite number.
79?
79.
Why is that your favourite number?
I don't know. I just really like 79.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Don't ask me.
All right.
So what's my favourite number?
What was Dan's basketball number again? Was it 75? I can't remember now.
I don't know.
He talked about it last week. I'm that's fascinating, Dan. It's wonderful. But like 79 instead of 69. Like we're all fans of 69s around here.
And children's jokes. Yes.
Children's jokes.
Yes.
Yeah. 69. It's a
Good
funny.
old 69.
It's a nice number.
It's a funny number.
This week on the show, we're going to be talking about latest news, I guess, and some Nintendo games we should play, which we haven't played yet.
Yep. Because we're fools.
Fools.
We're fools for not investing our time in some good game.
Some good game.
There you go.
All right, Bryce, let's start it off. So, the Wii eShop, what's not called the eShop, but it's
the Wii Shop.
The Wii Shop, God, is closing down soon. So this is your last chance if you want to re-download some games. But I'm not too fussed about the actual news itself, Bryce. But what memories do you have of online shopping on the Wii? Good experience, bad experience,
Disconnection, lag,
great music,
poor memory.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Poor memory. What would you call it? They did it in blocks, which they still do on the 3DS, which is dumb. I'd rather just have a simple megabytes term.
Yeah, they complicate it for no apparent reason.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
And having the point system where you've got to each game's worth amount of points.
Yeah,
as well, and you're always left over a bit. Xbox Live did it as well for a while there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, Nintendo changed it before Xbox did, I think, to just normal currency.
Did it?
Yeah, and it was the PlayStation 3. That was the only one on the market what just used
that aren't doing points.
Yeah, but just used money. Yeah. I still remember because the Wii was my first console that went online, and going online and sort of being able to buy these games, like the virtual console at the time, and they later introduced WiiWare.
Yeah.
I never really got into WiiWare. I don't think I actually have any WiiWare games.
No, I don't even think I do. I only bought, virtual console stuff, really.
Yeah, it is hard to think back to then. Like Nintendo, I think their eShop was good on the Wii U. I think it's really good on the Switch now.
Yeah,
it's pretty straightforward. Like obviously there are some things, just formatting and things to find games or
that are just easier and better in general.
Yeah. I think some things that could improve, but it's pretty good now. But going back to the Wii, it was a mess.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Just getting connected to the damn shop in the first place was hard enough.
And especially when you buy a game, it's tied to your console.
Yeah. So if your console's dead, well,
And that was a really baffling thing with the Wii U too. They're like, oh, we're getting accounts, but they still tied those accounts to the hardware.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't until the Switch where we got account-based purchasing.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Well, it's crazy to think about it in like terms of PS3 and Xbox. They were all doing account-based.
Yeah, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
2005, actually. The Xbox 360, yeah.
Jeez.
2005. Yeah. But we're getting there slowly.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. What I think like one of the first games I bought on the Virtual Console was Paper Mario 64. So that's the first way I got to experience that game, by going back playing it on the Wii. I got the classic controller.
Yep.
Before it was a classic controller Pro, so it didn't have the handles, and that was good to play sort of games on like that. Yeah, I remember playing Smash Bros a lot with it. And
see, I just think I used the GameCube controller.
Oh yeah,
I just about everything.
Yeah, I would have, but at that point I didn't have a GameCube controller.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, so I know like a fair few people are, alright, I've got to make sure I've got to download everything, so it's there forever. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, it won't be there forever. You lose your Wii or something. But yeah, I'm not too worried. I can.
The thing is though, and like as terrible as it is to say, but they're just hackable anyway.
The Wii, yeah,
they're just hackable. So it's kind of like if you lose your stuff, you're like, oh well, you managed to pick up another Wii. You're like, well, I can't buy all those things again. The shop's shut down now. Even if I wanted to give them my money, so I guess I'll just take my Wii and get them back. Even if it's just the titles that you bought because you don't want to steal or whatever, just seems to be the way. Honestly, like connecting with a Wii online in general is just not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, can you just connect it to your router?
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I haven't used my Wii in so long. It's still in the cupboard, but
yeah,
Yeah,
mine's actually packed up in my PlayStation 3 box for whatever reason. It's just fitting there, so that's where it went. It's a PlayStation 3. It's not packed up. I don't know where it is. I think it's still out at the farm.
Oh, okay. Right.
Somewhere out there. Be a useful Blu-ray player or something for someone.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's about all they're useful for now.
Yeah, the Wii doesn't... Yeah, that's not useful for much other.
No,
like,
not at all.
Yeah, it is a shame with like the Wii U's backwards compatibility for Wii games. Like, all right, I want to see it at least in the up-res a bit because of the Wii U using the HDMI cables, but having to go into the Wii mode, like,
yeah.
I just never used the backwards compatibility on the Wii U for that.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. Like how they just couldn't just integrate it in the one menu. It was a real pain in the ass. Yeah,
I guess that's how it is. But
I mean, they did it flawlessly on DS to 3DS. It's just kind of like pop in a DS game and play the DS game. And you didn't have to go through any bullshit. But the Wii U, I guess.
Oh well. Cool. Games, download them.
Yep. Forget a Wii Shop exists after that.
I honestly don't think any of you guys out there are going to be like, yes, I'll plug in my Wii.
I will download all my games.
I'll squint at my TV because it will be that blurry.
Poor Wii. It's 480p output.
Yeah, you'll be able to play Nintendo 64 games on your Switch soon.
Yeah, probably will. Which kind of brings us into the next thing, the SNES games.
Yeah, so last week, it actually happened like just after we recorded last week's episode.
It did, yeah, like literally like 4 hours.
Yeah, but it's been recovered that SNES games may be coming to the Switch's online service.
Yeah, they're referencing the data for the app.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a pretty surmisable and reasonable list of like games you would expect, Link to the Past and Kirby Superstar. Is that it?
Yeah.
Super Metroid, Mario Kart, I think, was on that list too.
We should not have the list, so I couldn't find it, but I'm sure it's somewhere.
Yeah, I
didn't look that hard, mind you.
It was only like 15 games or something like that. But it's a surmisable
22 list. Or something.
But they did say back a couple of weeks ago. Reggie said once they're sold out this time, they're sold out. They're gone. And I mean, I'm glad I got my NES and my SNES. That's great. But by the sounds of it, that means that we're probably not going to see revivals of the N64 or Game Boy or anything like that as well. I think. Well,
they actually found the Super Nintendo emulator, and they found 2 more emulators which they don't know what they are on there.
That's strange.
Yeah, so they've uncovered the emulator for the SNES or the NES. It's the same as what the Classic's using.
Yep.
And they've recovered the SNES emulator, which is the same the Classics using the SNES Classics using.
Yep.
So Then they found 2 more emulators, and they got no idea what they are.
64 in GameCube, maybe.
Yes, yeah. So what they could be is maybe future classic emulators, which they've got ready, and then now they've uploaded them up to the servers.
Yeah.
For the Switch app, so might say that, or it might be. I don't know. Like, I don't think we'll see a classic GameCube.
Maybe.
Don't really know.
Maybe.
But
the thing is the GameCube's pretty far back at this point, and like with the blunder that the online service wasn't launched, because we know it wasn't that great.
Wasn't good at all.
No.
Even though it got delayed a year and a half, it still wasn't any good.
Exactly, and I think Nintendo have heard the complaints. And they've gone, well, SNES games are coming, and they're just going to build off that. Means we'll probably never get a virtual console, but if they just keep adding to that online service and give us a digital library of games, paying $30 a year, that's fine.
Yep.
You know, paying a cheap enough price a year, that's pretty good for that kind of service. You know, and I think that's what Nintendo needs at this point. They could probably sell all their classic games, nick off a lot more money for it, probably. But to be,
I don't see why they don't either.
They've done it for years.
Yeah. I wish they just said, "Hey, here's a back catalogue of old Nintendo games. It's $50 a year instead of $30 here in Australia, and have at it." They could easily do that, but instead they're like, "Here's a trickle of NES games, and here's a service which is pretty underwhelming, and there's this app for some reason."
Mm-hmm. Yep. Pretty meh app.
Pretty, yeah. Like out of the 3 companies, so Xbox and PlayStation rely on, you know, getting newer games or whatever it might be onto their service to offer as free.
Yeah.
But Nintendo has hundreds of games which they can sort of offer themselves rather than go out to other parties to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
So it's sort of a bit bewildering why they don't do it, because they've got a huge opportunity to do it. Even do like a subscription service, like maybe what Netflix might be, just have all their catalog in the one place.
The way I see it is that it's basically like Xbox Live's Game Pass.
Yeah.
In that perspective, like that's what they're trying to replicate, and doing that with classic games is a smart idea, because people will lap that shit up because it's classic games.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have a decent catalogue of games, then people will buy it. They'll do that sort of thing. So with the let's presume the SNES games are coming. I could imagine people subscribing to the online service would probably be up 50% just because of that.
Yeah, it get people a lot more excited. Like personally,
a lot of people don't hold as much attachment to the NES as they do the SNES. The SNES was something.
Yeah, a lot of the Super Nintendo games, when they come around, they sort of improved on everything the NES was doing.
They improved in every context,
So it's a lot easier and a lot more fun going back to A Link to the Past than it is the original Legend of Zelda.
I was about to say, you look at it from that prospect, like what do you get from the Legend of Zelda in terms of like an engaging story? You don't. And same with like a Mario game or something like that. You know, you don't really get that.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what the SNES just did better in general, and that's why people have more fond memories of it.
Depending when you're born too, like
but
you know, you're 93, I'm 94. So
a lot of people wouldn't argue that though. I'd feel like the NES, you're kind of required to have a imagination if you want to get the most fun out of it.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're not really getting the most fun out of it. So they kind of, when they moved to the SNES, they were like, well, we can do more with this now. And they're like, we can create our story to go with it. And, you know, then people don't have to have an imagination. They can just enjoy a nice little game.
Yeah.
You know, that's just the way it is. I just think the SNES is probably going to lure people in a lot more.
So are you excited about playing them on your Switch?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I am too. Like I was actually looking at the controls the other day. I was almost thinking about it, getting the NES controllers for your Switch, which slide onto the ends. I looked at the price tag. I'm like $80. I'm like, oh, nah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, nah. But what I think I'll do, I'll get a little adapter from 8-Bit Do. So they've got like an adapter where you can plug in your GameCube controllers and the Wii peripherals.
Yeah.
So that allows you to put the NES Classic and the SNES Classic controllers into that and use them on the Switch.
Yeah, and that'd be the best way you could do it.
And like I've already got those controllers sitting there. I don't need another couple just to be wireless.
No.
So
yeah,
that's the way I'll go. I'm really looking forward to playing a lot of the games, because a lot of the Super Nintendo games I missed, apart from the real big ones like Mario World and Zelda and all that stuff. So like one game I really want to get back to is Earthbound, but we'll get to that for the topic of the show, because we've got a lot of games that we haven't played.
Yeah, for sure.
Next on the agenda is JUKEBOX 4. Bryce, I haven't played it. I know you haven't really played it. I've like dabbled in the series at PAX, so like I did a battle and stuff. I didn't really get into it, but it's always been something I'm like, oh, it's got the collection aspect and the sort of the Pokemon sort of aesthetic, which I like. See,
I've played games with JUKEBOX collaborations, and I've always kind of just skimmed over them and gone, meh.
What games collaborated with them?
Final Fantasy 14 did one.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
That's pretty cool. That's really
cool. You get some like JUKEBOX minions and yokai themed weapons and stuff like that, and it was kind of just like the ghost thing.
Yeah.
Get that as a mount. It was really weird.
It was weird, yeah.
But the thing that never really appealed to me about JUKEBOX is just the games just didn't look too interesting on the 3DS.
Yeah, it's sort of like the battle system where it was like, touch this, spin this. That didn't really appeal to me. Whereas like Pokemon's like, all right, you can sort of, you're thinking about type balancing and like I said, I haven't played the game, so there might be like oodles of strategy which just outweigh Pokemon heaps. But recently a JUKEBOX 4 trailer came out and it looks really interesting. It looks like they've really stepped it up to become like a console game.
It makes me more interested in JUKEBOX.
Me too, yeah.
Like just that trailer alone, which is saying something, because I had literally could not give a shit, didn't care. JUKEBOX can just go to some other dimension and piss off out of my life.
Wow, all right.
I didn't give a crap. But JUKEBOX 4's trailer is more like sort of Talesy.
Yeah.
And
the combat looks a lot different. Obviously, you don't have that bottom screen with a touch screen, so they had to really change it up, I would assume.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, the combat looks very Talesy, and I can appreciate that. Like, I think that's pretty good, and looks like there's a fair bit of strategy to it and stuff like that, and that's a good thing. Like, I'd prefer that. So, it might even be a consideration for me to pick up if I'm just looking for another JRPG.
Yeah. I'm really impressed too. I reckon I'll wait until reviews and see what it's all about, because like the other games are a lot more like it's aimed at kids.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't really. If it's still like a fun game, I don't really care.
No.
I know like a lot of these like monster sort of like Digimon, Pokemon.
How dare you not be a massive Call of Duty fan?
Oh, look, I've played Call of Duty in my time, mate. I've shot some men.
I've played anything from G to R for pretty much all of my life, and that's not going to stop. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day,
a good game's a good game.
Yeah, a good game's a good game. The rating doesn't bother me because when I get home from work, I don't really get off from shooting stuff necessarily.
No.
I just want something to cheer me up or happy, or not necessarily cheer me up. That makes it sound like I'm depressed all the time when I go to work, but. Yeah, but what I was thinking when I saw this trailer, I'm like, ooh, it's going to put the pressure on the next gen Pokemon games as well.
I reckon so. Yeah,
which is good because a lot of people, there's like a Photoshop going around of Breath of the Wild, and people have like photoshopped Pokemon in around the trees, and Red standing there with his back to the camera, and it'd be amazing if there was a Pokemon game like that, where it's like it changes the camera angle to behind you. It's a third person game, and you're actually like exploring the world, and you can see the Pokemon in the overworld.
Yeah.
Since playing Let's Go, I think I've actually changed my mind with how the Pokemon encounters work, where you can actually see them in the wild and then you go up to them rather than just random battles. I think it would be amazing if they could pull that type of thing off, but I don't think they will, and I don't know if they'll just keep it like still the same sort of camera angles. Still,
yeah, I don't know. I like the traditional system because it enforces a bit of mystery, if that makes sense. Like, you can't in Kanto. It's just like, I know all the 151 Pokemon. I'm not seeing anything new and exciting. So if a Psyduck pops up at me, I'm not gonna be like, whoa, what's that Pokemon?
It depends how they do it. Like, we've already had this discussion and we've got our views on the situation, but I think you can still have that. Like, if they have like the camera angle and you're sort of like walking at the base of a mountain, you're looking up and you're like, you can see sort of something moving around the summit. You're like, what the hell is that? So similar to Breath of the Wild, when you see the dragon and you see it in the distance and it's like sparking. You're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, maybe
it could have a similar effect like that.
But that's where it, like, it would have to be that type of game to pull it off.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you put it in a traditional Pokemon game, you're not exciting anyone, sort of thing.
No, I agree. Yeah, like if they have it like Let's Go, where it's the same camera angle and they just like pop up. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
The little party poppers going off in the grass. Like, toom, toom.
But at this stage, we don't know if it's going to be any different from Let's Go in that regard. Like whether it's just going to look exactly like a traditional Pokemon game, or I want to have faith, but
yeah. But where I was getting at, if Gen 8 is a normal Pokemon game, run of the mill, not stepping it up to a console quality, I guess is a way to put it. I think this might actually make it look bad.
Yeah.
Because this is looking pretty good for like the step up from Yokai Watch, where you are looking at it in the way you look at a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And now it's stepped up to this.
Yeah.
I think it looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks great. Looks great.
So Game Freak, get your shit together. Level 5 is giving you a run for your money.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, what's next on our little list, Bryce?
Oh, I don't know. It's a grab bag today, mate.
It's a grab bag today.
It's a grab bag today.
I tell you what, we're gonna skip that one and we'll just go to our topic.
That one's pretty boring to read.
Yeah, it's just sales.
Yeah.
Do you feel like talking about sales? I don't.
No, not today. No, it's a Sunday.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
It's my day off. I'm done with my marketing job. I want to go home and cry.
Marketing job.
Yeah.
What are you marketing?
I don't know.
You don't even know. Not very good at your job.
No. All it makes me want to do is cry.
If you could market something, what would you market?
I don't know. Men's lingerie. Let's go with that.
Marketing, it just reminds me of the Wii U, because that was always a thing. Like, it's terrible marketing. But at the same time, it's like really sit down and try to think about how you would market the Wii U. How would you? How do you?
Well,
here we go. Here's a topic for you.
All right.
Well, here we go.
Quick juncture here. First of all, I would probably make a demand that you don't have to have the console with the bloody tablet, and it runs for cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would advertise that as the thing. Don't make games require it for, a good portion of the game like Xenoblade Chronicles X did.
Oh, no, sorry, I just laughed because you said don't make them require it for No, don't worry.
God damn it. Anyway, don't make it a requirement. Shouldn't be a requirement. That gamepad is silly. Don't make it a requirement for the menus, for one. That's ridiculous.
I love that.
Oh my god.
It's great.
When they announced the thing, they boasted that it would have like so much coming to it, Counter-Strike and all that shit that never came to it.
Oh yeah, what the hell?
Never came to
Counter-Strike. Oh my god.
It never came to it. And God, I wonder why. I wonder why Counter-Strike never came to the Wii U. But anyway.
That was so weird. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, Counter-Strike Source. Was it Source? Yeah, Source. Because Go I don't think was out at that point.
Mm.
So it's just kind of it's a case of like there's a whole bunch of decisions they could have made with it, made it a little bit cheaper. Maybe people would have been more interested at that point. They didn't care about the gamepad. The gamepad was the console's biggest issue. It held back the console from so much. Miiverse was great, but they should have worked on it instead of just shutting it down.
Yeah, that's actually one thing where you kind of miss on the Switch.
Yeah.
Honestly, like bringing stuff over like Mario Maker will be a lot harder without that as well.
No.
Yeah.
You could still play edit mode. You'd just have to do it in handheld, or they would have to make new controls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, new controls. I'm just saying, with the Miiverse functionality in Mario Maker was really good.
Oh yeah. No, it was stupid good. But that's the thing is, it was very small decisions they could have changed. Cut the price down of the console by getting rid of that gamepad, and people might have just been like, "Oh, hey, this is good," and make the gamepad less of a requirement in a whole handful of games. It being a requirement for Xenoblade's management system was awful, and it was one of the things that's held that game back from being moved over, in my opinion, because it'd be too much work to friggin' reintegrate it. It's dumb, really. And then just market it as you can buy it with the tablet or without the tablet, and it's like $50 to $80 less or something like that, and people might have been a little bit more interested.
Chuck it in the bin.
I would have sold more. Because people weren't interested in having the big bloody hulky fucking tablet.
Yeah, but then at the same time, what does the Wii U do? It's just like a poor piece of hardware then.
Well, you could still use it as a backwards compatible Wii virtual console. You've got new games on the Wii U, and if they didn't require the tablet, that's new software. You've got the Miiverse integration. You've got easier access to apps. like Crunchyroll, YouTube, stuff like that, and sort of just make it like a media center with games.
I mean, really, the Wii U shouldn't have had the tablet. Should have been called the Wii 2, and it should have came out in 2010.
Yeah.
I mean, because, let's not go down this rabbit hole anyway any longer.
But the point is there's things they could have done, but they didn't do.
Yeah. All right, Russ, we'll start off with you. As far as video games from Nintendo, we have yet to catch up on in 2019. Boy. So let's try and make these, don't just go, oh yeah, we should play that, I should play that. Make these games we're actually going to play this year, or at least try to.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, my backlog is bloody awful.
Mine is too, and I feel like most people apart from Luke will be able to relate to that.
Yep, yeah. Luke, you've got a penchant for video gaming. Good job, buddy. Okay, so I'll start off with my approach towards Fire Emblem. Mm-hmm. I have, regrettably, never finished one. I've always played them for a good minimum 10 hours of each game, and then I'd sort of gotten lost in the systems of each individual game and then put it down and then just never picked it back up again.
No, I'm in the same boat as you. With Awakening, like I love the characters, I love the atmosphere and everything.
Yep.
But the turn-based strategy, like, I like it, but it's not my cup of tea necessarily.
It was never mine either. It's one of my most hated systems in video gaming, but I've come to like Fire Emblem because, this is something I posted on Twitter, and this is probably a good point. One of the best Fire Emblem games you can start off with if you want to get into the franchise is Fire Emblem Heroes, which isn't even on a console, it's on mobile platforms.
Yep.
1, because it's free. 2, because it's simplified. And 3, because it can get advanced if you want to put the time into it. And because it's free, you don't have to have, set a shit ton. The way that game is made is it's like, hey, I can finish a battle in 5 minutes or 2 minutes or, something like that. It doesn't have to be a long thing, whereas like battles in actual Fire Emblem games, they could go from 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's shortened down significantly. The only problem with Fire Emblem Heroes is obviously that it's a banner gacha game. So
trying to get your cash. But
in my opinion, and this is why I kind of want to play Dragalia Lost, because I'd like to see that game come over to wherever else. I was just saying to Drew before the show, that game's still not out anywhere else yet.
Apart from America, yeah.
Fire Emblem actually does it pretty well if you just want to play it as a solo experience. You get an orb after every mission. It's like 5 orbs to summon one character, discounted if you summon more from the one pool. And then like every character in the story mode is relatively useful. You can get through the story mode by just using a generic set of characters. You don't have to have like that super rare unit or anything like that. The game's fairly manageable. It's really good. But it's super simplified Fire Emblem. And if you can put the time into that and sort of get into the roles of that, which I've done for the past 6 months or whatever, on and off, because that's what Fire Emblem Heroes is. I don't have to sink a shit ton of time in.
Yeah.
But it has made me go, right, now it's my time to go finish Fire Emblem Awakening. So I started a new game and I'm working on it now.
Yeah.
I've put 9 or 10 hours into it. I'm having a lot of fun marrying off my characters, getting their children, all that stuff. Because, you marry off your characters, they inherit parents' traits and stuff like that. And
yeah,
it's just a whole bunch of neat stuff. I think that files up to chapter 13. I've still got a copy of my old one, which is chapter 19, but I don't remember enough of the story to just be like, So yeah, I'm working on that. I'm also going to work on Fates, Conquest, Birthright, and Liberation.
You're going to do all 3? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
They all offer the same basis of story, but the story is completely different after the first 2 hours.
I know that's a lot of content, but after that, are you then interested in Echoes? Or I guess by the time...
No, I'm not interested in Echoes. Mainly because I could probably just go back and emulate the original game, which was highly praised and much better in people's eyes than what Echoes was.
Oh, was it?
Well, because Echoes is ridden with DLC and all that crap.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of left down the
that's
drain.
right. That was the thing where the DLC cost the season pass was the same amount as the actual game when it came out.
It was a fortune. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, I'm not interested in Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. I'm not really interested in playing that one. I'd like to probably play Radiant Dawn,
That's one I'd like to touch as well.
or something like that. Because I'm like, I don't. It's definitely like within the first 6 months of this year, Fire Emblem Three Houses. But I really want to
First 3 months, you reckon?
It's in spring in America, so it's in the first 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, if you said 3.
Nah, 6. You know, that's coming up sooner than I thought, so I'd like to put some time into them before thingy comes out. I'm finishing Awakening. I swear to God, I'm going to do it this week. I'm going to finish Awakening, even though like I've kind of done things wrong, and I'm just realizing that already with like moving classes up and stuff like that.
Did you inbreed your kids?
No. No. I should have second sealed to a different class than second sealed.
You didn't
back.
accidentally like put like Lucina and Crom together?
No,
get some weird kid.
You can't do that. You have to marry someone else to get Lucina. So that doesn't really.
I know. Obviously,
Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I did a couple of things wrong, and I'm realizing that now. But I'll improve on that in Fates, and I'll do that in Fates and actually do it properly. But as long as I can get through Awakening's story, then cool, because that's what I'm most interested about in Awakening. Fates, I'm interested in the story, but I've got 3 games to cover it, so I might as well learn the systems while I'm doing the 3 games. But yeah, that's my catch-up goal for 3 Houses, and I'm hoping to do it within these next 5 months to get a couple of Fire Emblem games cleared.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
I'll talk about more in a minute. You give us a couple.
Well, one of the games I really want to like really get into and finish is a game that I missed because of my limited time with the GameCube. I've loved the Mario series. I've played all the games, but the one I haven't spent enough time with is Super Mario Sunshine.
This one pains me. This one pains me for you because I love Sunshine.
And I go like I've got have the GameCube set up and I play it and I'm like, oh god, this is blurry and I can't get into it. And God forbid, I went on the PC and I got a HD version of it working with the GameCube controller, and that's a lot better. I can see it and it doesn't burn my eyes as much.
But you're not playing it as original experience if it isn't destroying your eyeballs.
True.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, but it's basically I just want to fill in the Mario gap I'm missing. So that's about all on that one.
Yep.
But a series which I haven't really touched is the Prime series as well. Like same thing. I've gone into it and I've played it. I know what it is. It's just I really want to like finish them and get to know those games properly.
I can agree with that one. You know, I've played a lot of Metroid Prime, but I've never finished them. It's one of those games as a kid where I was sort of always I was a very jittery child and I didn't like being scared like at all. And Metroid could be like that, so it kind of put me off doing it as a kid. But I did play Hunters, obviously. But I feel like it didn't have that same effect.
Yeah, see, I don't know if Hunters, like, the story on that turned me off of what the Prime games were when I was younger. Obviously,
maybe.
Obviously, like, I know they're great and all that, but yeah, definitely need to play them. I've been meaning to, like, get through that trilogy for ages. Hopefully this year is a part of that. Actually, and sticking with the GameCube, I really want to play through the Pokemon games on there as well.
I've played them.
Colosseum. Like, I've played them as well, but sort of like, a couple of hours in, I'm like, yeah, alright. Because I know they're not like tremendously awesome games, but
no, yeah, they're not.
Yeah, it's just like another bit missing in my Pokemon playing history. I don't know.
It's very watered down Pokemon Stadium with a really watered down story.
Yeah,
that's the best way I can put it. They never really feel complete.
Yeah, it's made like by a completely different company, and
I mean I know that, but it just like I owned one and borrowed one on the GameCube, and I finished Colosseum, got near the end of XD, and they're just really watered down Pokemon experiences. And when you're young, you don't think of it much. You kind of just whatever. But nowadays, like I could never imagine myself going back and playing them because honestly, they're not amazing.
Yeah, because I really wanted the GameCube when I was younger, and I wanted to get Mario Sunshine and Pokemon Colosseum. They were the 2 games I wanted a GameCube for. And I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast, actually. My mum went into Game Traders.
Game Traders.
Was it Game Traders or?
Yeah, Game Traders when they were bad.
Yeah, they were really bad down in Mount Gambier where we live. So she went in and the employee said, oh, nah, GameCubes are shit. Don't get one. There's no games on it. Get a PlayStation 2. So mum came home and said, oh, apparently the GameCube isn't very good. So do you want to get a PlayStation 2 instead? But, like, I just said, when I was a kid, it's sort of weird. Instead of me going, no, I want the GameCube because it has Pokemon and Mario on it, and I've got no interest in a PlayStation 2 because all my friends have one, and I go around there every weekend. I'll play it there.
Yeah.
I just went, oh, okay, no, I don't want a PlayStation 2. It's all right. And that's how it was left.
God.
So that's sort of why I missed out on that generation. And thinking back to it, I'm like, oh, it would have been so good to have like.
Why did I do that? Because they had like GameCubes out for $99 at one point.
Mm. And this was late GameCube as well. This might have been 2000. I guess it would have been 2004, 5. So it wasn't that much longer until the Wii, but still, I think back, I'm like, I could have had like a nice stack of games.
A really good GameCube experience.
Yeah. Like I only knew 2 people with a GameCube. That was you, and that was really late. That was like pretty much when the Wii was out. I might have even had the Wii when you got your GameCube.
Yeah. That's
how late it was. And there was our friend Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he had the GameCube. Like no one else had one. That's why I'm like, well, I'll get a GameCube, play the games I really want to play, and I'll just go around and shoot people in GTA and whatever at my friend's place.
That's the penchant I had for the PS2. Like I understand it's one of the best performing consoles of all time, but please tell me what people didn't have the same like 5 games for PS2.
Like our friends at least did anyway.
Everybody I knew that had a PS2, it was like God of War, Jak and Daxter 2. GTA 3 or Vice City.
Both usually.
And then usually some shitty sports or knockoff racing car game of some kind, or Gran Turismo.
Adam, when I went to his place, he had Digimon Rumble Arena.
Yeah.
So we used to jump between Super Mario 64, Smash Brothers 64, or Digimon Rumble Arena on the PlayStation 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. It was on the GameCube as well. I found out later.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's actually a lot of fun. I actually played it. I played it again last year, like just on an emulator. Just just get my feeling for it back, and like this is actually pretty cool. You just like hit each other, get orbs, digivolve. Like nostalgia. Really a weird game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Anyway, Bryce, what's the next one on your list? Your invisible list, which we don't actually have in front of us.
The invisible list. I need to go back and play and finish something more recent, which was Bayonetta 2.
Oh, yep. This is one of mine too.
Bayonetta 2 is one of the highest praised games on the Wii U, and I never finished it. And I loved Bayonetta 1, and I played the crap out of Bayonetta 1, but I never finished 2. I have the collection, and I've been meaning to finish it, but it's one of those things where it's just like, it's a port. I can set it aside if something new comes out and I want to play something new, and that's just the way it's been since.
It's like Dylan Blight from the Explosion Network. He actually bought his Wii U just for Bayonetta 2.
Yeah.
And he said it's the only game he finished on it too.
Yeah.
On the Wii U. Like, because when the original Bayonetta came out, you were playing it on Xbox 360 and you loved it there. And I thought it looked pretty cool, and I never really had any interest in playing it. And now that it's pretty much this, like a Nintendo exclusive, with Bayonetta 3 coming out, all right, I want to sort of play both games, so when Bayonetta 3 comes out, we can have like a proper discussion about it, cover it. Yeah, and they look like fun games too.
They are. They're fun games. Mind you, Bayonetta 1 has the longest ending of all time.
I am in a dilemma though, because it's like I bought Bayonetta 2 on Wii U. Like I played it for a couple of hours, put it down, never come back to it, because I'm really bad at that. I need to work out what's going wrong in my brain, Bryce. I've got a deficiency where I don't come back to like drop games. Whether it's because I don't think it's the game's fault. I think it's my fault. Like, but if I really enjoy a game, I won't let it go.
Right.
As well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, do you have the collection?
Yeah, I've got 1 and 2 on Wii U.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I did as well, but I'm willing to pay out for this. In my philosophy, I am willing to pay out for good games.
Yeah.
On a new console, if they're good.
Yeah.
Even if I own them on the other console, and Bayonetta was one of those things, because in my opinion, Bayonetta's one of the greatest, action games within its genre. So, Devil May Cry and all that stuff. It's one of those games that sits up there at the top.
Top 5, yeah.
At the top, So even though I hadn't finished Bayonetta 2 and I did own the collection on Wii U, I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to buy it again on Switch, because I know at least I'll,
so
play it.
I should play Bayonetta 1, then 2.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Because, you miss out. There's a lot of stuff that happens at the start of Bayonetta 2, like just in the intro cutscene itself, where you're just like, who the fuck is that character?
No,
Who the fuck is that character?
Yep. That was me when I played the first 2 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, Bayonetta 1, like all the way through, was a fantastic game. Like there was shortcomings in it, but there is in most games. You know, I couldn't really pinpoint exactly what they were at this stage because I forget, but it was still a really good game. And then, you know, obviously Bayonetta 2 must have improved on all that because it's got such a high praise that it does. But Bayonetta 1's a great game, so you should just play it anyway. Just like you should play Persona 5. So hopefully that comes to Switch this year. That should be in your backlog.
Well, it is. I've got a big backlog, Bryce.
That should be the thing. Should be on this list if it were a Nintendo port. Please give us Persona 5.
All right, I'll put it on the list. There it is, Persona 5, right on the list. Then I can listen to Dash and Holmesy without getting any spoilers.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been holding off that podcast because I'm like, I can't listen to it because I'm going to play the game.
Yep.
And obviously it wouldn't make any sense without playing it.
It's not even just that it would enable you to listen to Dash and Holmesy. It's just that you should play it because they made a podcast about it. That's just how good it is. The damn good game. And like, I understand your hatred lately of watching a TV screen and playing a video game, but maybe sometimes you just have to sacrifice your honor and play a video game on the TV.
I think you're right, Bryce. Next game on my list, I'm going to go with Earthbound. I've been meaning to get through Earthbound for ages. Yep. And I haven't.
Yeah, I always get 4 villages in and then stop. Always.
I remember years ago, like I played a bit on an emulator. I didn't get that far.
No,
I really liked it. Like the opening's really quite powerful, but
it is. Yeah. Yeah. Really good game.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about games that you haven't played, isn't it?
Well, I just think it's not really because it's such a cult classic game.
Yeah.
Like if anything, it is a cult classic game. Same with Mother 3. That's also like a massive cult classic. It is really crazy how much of a fandom those games get for something that we never even really thought of much. It's such a goofy game in general, and like that's where, you know, obviously people like Toby Fox got his inspiration from for Undertale and stuff like that. There's just such goofy humor in those games, and like
especially back then when you think RPG, you think Final Fantasy, you think like these high fantasy RPGs where it's like, you know, knights, mages, this and that. But this was like just based in, say, your hometown.
Yep. Back
when you were a kid, you go around with your mates with your baseball bat and that. I think that's what really got people's attention as well. With this.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what draws me to it. Like you got a guy in your party called Pooh.
Good old Pooh.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, I'll be glad to be playing it as an adult because the last boss of Earthbound scares the living crap out of me.
Does it?
Yes. I'm pretty sure the director said that he actually made the boss thematically from a fear that he had after he walked into a theater and was scared by something in particular. Can't remember what it was. He was scared by something, and it traumatized him as a child. And that's what spawned the image of the last boss, pretty much. He made it based off that sort of, you know, that fear, that draining fear. I'm just like, holy crap! I've seen that boss fought. I've seen, you know, I know the ending to Earthbound. I've seen all that. That is a scary boss, just ominous. It scares the crap out of me, but I want to beat it. Speaking of, though, I do want to beat Mother 3 as well, even though there is not an official English release for it. There is definitely a fan-translated one, because I have much more of a liking to Lucas than I do Ness.
Yeah, from Smash Brothers, I do too.
for Smash Brothers reasons, I guess. But, like, not only that, but I've played the first couple of hours of Mother 3, and it's, you know, it starts off with a pretty average story going forward and stuff like that, but I know about Lucas's twin brother Klaus, and that there's something to go on with that, and that it's actually set sort of with New Pork City. Porky has like gotten his big robot from friggin' Earthbound and become what he has, and so something about Mother 3 intrigues me a little bit more than Earthbound, but I think Earthbound probably takes the priority just simply because Earthbound is Earthbound. I guess I own it on so many platforms at this point. I don't know what the fuck, I haven't played it. Seriously, I've bought it every time.
Wherever I got it, I've got
Wii U. I've got it on the Classic.
I got it on the Classic. I didn't buy it on Wii.
Did you buy it on Wii U?
I don't think I did, unless it was like one of those. Remember how they had the celebration and they did real cheap games? It was like 30 cents a game. I don't think that was included. I think it was really weird. They did NES games, but for some reason when they got to Metroid, they put Super Metroid out cheap instead of the original Metroid.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
A bit strange.
Yeah.
That's a game I need to finish.
Yeah. Everyone's just like, oh my god, why am I even listening to this goddamn show?
I mean, I've played all of these games. It's the thing. I've played all of
exactly.
them. And I've played them in extent, but I've never finished them. And that's like the hard part about it, is because it's usually because something else has piqued my interest.
Yeah, it's hard to sort of like, if literally no games came out from Nintendo this year and we didn't have to cover anything else, we would be more than set just with this back catalogue.
Yeah, if Nintendo said, hey, Reggie's taking a 12-month holiday and we can't do business without his memes, so you guys are free for 12 months to do what you need. You know what? I'd probably sit down and play all of these games and finish all of them, but just year as the year goes on.
I feel like we have a bit of time though, because the next like big game is Crafted World, Yoshi's Crafted World, and we've got till the end of March at least.
Yeah,
like games wise.
And then after that, it's Fire Emblem, though, and that'll only be like 2 months out of that.
Yeah.
Like, just thinking of that, I don't think they've talked any more about that game at all ever since the trailer is released. But they said spring. They said spring.
They can say what they want. It's just whether they actually deliver on it.
I kind of, well, yeah, I hope they do.
Remember, it was delayed from last year.
Yeah.
So,
I guess.
They'll take the time they need. Probably the next up for me would be just filling in the holes in the Zelda franchise, which I haven't played.
I've got a few holes with this as well, but they're very obscure titles usually. Yeah,
mine are the more obscure titles. So my first Zelda game was Twilight Princess, so I had a huge backlog of Zelda games straight away. The one
Legend of Zelda, toilet paper.
It's a good game. Don't call it shit.
I'm not calling it shit.
It wasn't until years later where
acronym.
It wasn't until years later where I'm like, oh wait, people don't like that game? Really?
I'm surprised by that too, because I really like Twilight Princess.
Looking back on it, I'm like, oh, the sections between the wolf and that was repetitive, but it wasn't bad. It didn't take that much time.
No, it has some of my fondest Zelda memories. I reckon Zant's one of the best villains I've ever had in the goddamn series.
I thought the combat was great.
He got shat on by Ganondorf in the last minute of the game, but
yes, that was
kind of bullshit.
In retrospect, that's disappointing. But as my first Zelda game, I'm like, oh, it's that Ganon guy, cool. That was sort of my thing. But I can imagine people been playing for years. Oh, it's Ganon again, whatever.
Yeah, great, reversing Ganon again. Yeah, but the way they played up Zant was great, and his fight was one of the most memorable boss fights I've ever had.
Awesome.
That remix music every time he changes stage, but it's still the same theme. So good.
Just the boss battles in that game. Anyway, but the games in the Zelda franchise, I sort of haven't finished. Like, I've played them. Like, I've probably done the first 2 hours, but dropped them like I do with a lot of these games.
Yeah.
Is the Game Boy games. So Link's Awakening, then to the Game Boy Color with What of Seasons and What of Ages, what's it called? Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons. They're probably ones I really want to play. Get back to these Game Boy games.
I own them, but I still haven't finished them.
I'm the same way, yeah.
They're really hard in that retrospect, though, because it just makes... The problem with them was they tried to do what they did with Pokemon with them.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just like, in my head, it just makes me go, I kind of need both to finish it completely.
Yeah, like, I'll probably honestly just choose one and go with that. And if I miss out on... I'm going to miss out on the exclusive dungeon where, you link the two together, so be it. If I miss out on the other version's exclusive dungeon or item, whatever it might be, so be it. I'm not going to get too caught up on that. I'll just play one and whatever. Because I know, like, I assume the Virtual Console versions, they've done it so you can buy both and unlock that exclusive dungeon with the different colours and that. Because it was like a colour-based dungeon because it was on the Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
I haven't played it, but I assume you have access to that. Because that would be really dumb if you can't.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there's that.
Lots of content.
Yeah, like, I've played Minish Cap. I'm just trying to think if I've actually forgotten anything. Played the DS games.
Wait, did you say Minish Cap?
Yeah, I played Minish Cap.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, I didn't actually finish Phantom Hourglass, but I really don't like Phantom Hourglass on the DS.
See, I'm one of those weird people that actually kind of like that game, so...
That's good. I wish I liked it.
The Temple of the Ocean King was bullshit. I know. It's like the worst part of the game, and it sucks that we have to go back to it. But think of all the Zelda games that have done that since.
It's not so much you have to go back to it, though. You go back to it, you go a couple of floors up, then you go back. And you've got to do those 2 floors again. For the next time you go back, you've got to do those 4 floors again. Like, that, I just found that really draining, and I'm like, whatever, I don't care. But Spirit Tracks, I really loved Spirit Tracks.
I haven't played Spirit Tracks.
And it's funny because I think Spirit Tracks has some of the best music in the series, with the instrument, the pan flute, or they call it the spirit flute, in that game. I absolutely love the music, and having like the Spirit Tracks level in Smash Ultimate now with the music and that playing in the background, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Have great dungeons. And
I'm familiar with the music enough thanks to Smash.
Yeah.
But I just one Zelda title on DS was enough for me.
No, I'm glad Spirit Tracks came out. It was a much better game. So.
Yeah, well,
you should play Spirit Tracks now.
No, because you not until you finish Persona 5.
Fuck off.
Not until you finish Persona 5. No, I just
okay. Is that a deal? I'll play a 100-hour game. You play I don't know.
Well, considering
hours.
I've been asking you to play it since it launched 2 years ago, you bought it before I did.
I did. I'm supported Atlas.
You did support Atlas. Good boy. Good for you. Now play the game. God damn it. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure I'll play it one day, but I don't own a copy, so I'd probably have to borrow yours, and then I'll play it.
Yeah, well, you can borrow my copy.
But it's just kind of like, I don't know, the DS Zeldas are fine to play, but they're not...
Oh my god, going back to the stylus controls might be a bit jarring.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I just remember when A Link Between Worlds came out, and you're like just playing it with the circle pad. It's like, oh my god, thank god.
Yeah.
Because you sort of like, it was like almost a decade of playing Zelda handheld with a stylus between those 2 games.
Yeah.
And it's picking up A Link Between Worlds. Like, oh my god, thank god. An amazing Zelda game with normal controls. Oh.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit jarring. What else? I feel like there's something else on my list there that I'm missing.
I mean, like everyone, there's heaps of things.
Well, yeah, clearly.
Yeah, clearly, yeah.
Clearly. I mean, at this point, I've got to rediscover 2 whole series. Like, that's enough. Holy hell. I have plenty of Switch games in my collection that I need to down.
Yeah. I'm the same. Well, actually, what I really want to do is I want 100% Mario Odyssey. That's what I would like to do.
Is there ever a true 100% to that game?
Yeah. Get all the moons. Get all the costumes. I mean, you got to get all the costumes to get all the moons.
That's a lot of moons. I don't know if I can be bothered. The problem is and I've mentioned it before, that you can buy the damn things. They kind of make them irrelevant at that point.
Well, no, but then they don't take place of ones you find, though. You've actually got to buy them.
I know that.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't make me feel any better about it.
Okay.
It's like, all right, I'll just go to the shop and buy 900. I'll buy my way to the cap, and then it's like I can't get past 999, so I don't get any score for it. So any moons that I've bought up until then, it's just like, oh well, that ruins my cap value. So oh well. As far as I know, there's no unique ending or anything for it.
All right, Bryce. I won't 100% it then, alright? Leave me alone, you bully.
You've got so many games in your backlog and you want to go back and 100% Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, I'll quit my day job.
Fuck, you'd want to quit your day job.
I'd have to.
Jesus.
At that rate.
I don't think there's actually a reward for that.
It's like, mate, why are you quitting your job? Oh, well, I've got to play Link's Awakening and 100% Mario Odyssey. It's important stuff. Got to butter my bread somehow.
Butter your bread, yeah. Yeah.
So I've got that saying stuck in my head thanks to Dan. He said because he used it in the complete wrong context and it was hilarious. Anyway, Bryce, you reckon we should end it there?
Yeah. I think for now that will do.
Cool. All right, guys, thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario episode 78. We are a part of the 8-Bit Collective, 10 podcasts and 22 podcasters coming together to put some cool content in your ears. Go to 8bit.net to check everyone out. Bryce, where can they find you on the Twitter?
@IvyRevan.
You can find me at iDribby, and you can find the show at The House of Mario. And just before we leave, we have brand new art.
We do.
Which is really exciting. Thank you very much to Simon Blackburn, host of Apple Slice Podcast.
Simon, my boy. Thank you, my friend.
It looks awesome. I am so stoked to have it.
Yeah, it is so good.
Because what we had before was something I didn't paint .NET. Literally.
yeah.
Just be like, all right, we want to talk about Nintendo. We don't want stuff like artwork and that to sort of postpone that. And we were stuck with that for the year and a half until now, where we're actually looking a bit more professional. Not really professional.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I guess.
I think it is.
Yeah,
it's a pretty damn good artwork.
No, I'm not saying that's not professional. I'm just saying us in general.
Us in general, we're never going to be professional, even if we end up in a 95th floor business meeting, my friend.
Yeah, well, a big business meeting. What are we going to talk about on the House of Mario today, Bryce?
Business, whiteboard, business.
Be like that meme when they chuck him out the building.
How can we improve the House of Mario?
Less banter.
Kicks him right out the window.
And if you'd like to support the show, leave us a rating on iTunes or your podcast player of choice. So whether that's Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. I got no idea. I don't use Google Podcasts.
Google Pods.
And what else is there? SoundCloud, of course.
Thoncloud.
Of course, SoundCloud. Yes.
Beautiful.
I like SoundCloud. Talking about SoundCloud, Bryce. We're going to end this show with our Nintendo JUKEBOX, which is where we highlight Nintendo artists from around the globe.
And the moron has locked his computer.
Yeah. I didn't lock my computer. It locked itself because I didn't touch it for a while.
It's feeling on love, so it went to sleep.
He's like, no, fuck it. If you're not gonna touch me, I'm gonna. I was like, this is a remix of Friends by Hyper Potions, and it's a song that's from Sonic Mania.
Sonic Mania.
You'll recognise it. It's been in all the Sonic Mania trailers and that, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the music.
Sonic Mania.
Hyper Potions, yeah.
Sonic Mania in general, that game is just it's redefined Sonic, and then they fucked it up with forces again.
I love how
it's great.
I love how they were so positive on Mania, when they just blurt out another crappy 3D Sonic game. So, oh well, they killed that.
Yeah.
Hype.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, we'll see you next week. Until then, stay happy.
Happy.